Good morning students, welcome to the class. In previous class we were learning about respiration in organisms. So yesterday I said breathing is a part of respiration, and I also said that breathing means what? Taking in of air, that is oxygen, rich in oxygen, and giving out carbon dioxide. With the help of respiratory organs it is called as breathing. Then I also informed you two types that takes place. One is inhalation and one is exhalation. Inhalation means what? Taking in of air rich in oxygen. That is called as inhaling. Means we are inhaling the air inside. Exhalation means we are exiting the air. Means that is the carbon dioxide we are being released out of the body. So today I will tell you how the respiration in organisms means in human respiratory. So I've already said here, it takes place with the help of respiratory organs. With the help of the respiratory organs. Now I will let you know what are the respiratory organs involved in the human system. The diagram what you are seeing here is the human respiratory system. First I will let you know the parts of the human respiratory system. Then I will explain you how the process of respiration takes place in the human beings. See, first, this is the nasal passage. Nasal passage means the nose, where it starts from the nose. We inhale the air through the nose. Next, this is the pharynx, windpipe, lungs, ribs, diaphragm. These are the important parts where it has been involved in the human respiratory system. With the help of these parts only, the oxygen is taken in and it has been supplied to overall throughout the body, and the air carbon dioxide has been released out from the body. See, first coming to the nasal passage, pharynx, windpipe, lungs, ribs and diaphragm. These are the parts of the human respiratory system. Now I will explain you how the process of respiration takes place in human beings. See, first what we are going to do, when you inhale the air, you are inhaling the air mainly with the nose and the mouth. First, the air which we are inhaling is being taken from the nose, means with the help of the nostrils being present. With the help of the nostrils, the air is being passed through the lungs. How it is being passed through the lungs? With the help of this windpipe which is being present. See, the air which we are inhaling is taken into the nostril. It is being passed through this passage. This passage is called as what? Nasal passage. It is called as nasal passage. With the help of the nasal passage, the air is reached to the lungs. With the help of what? With the help of windpipe. Now I already said these are lungs. Where are the lungs being present? The lungs is being present in the chest cavity of the human body. Now what is happening? When the air reaches the lungs, here this lungs is being supported by the ribs. You can see this. These are called as ribs. This is the protective system where the lungs is being protected. Next what will happen? You can see down. This is called as a muscle sheath which is being present down. So down you can see a muscle sheath. This is called as a muscle sheath, and this is called as what? Diaphragm. This diaphragm shows it is the floor of the chest cavity. This is the base where you have for the chest cavity. See, in breathing, when the process takes place, the ribs and the diaphragm plays a very important role in moving upwards and inwards. I already said the air passes through the nasal cavity, through the windpipe, and it reaches the lungs. The lungs is being surrounded by the ribs on both the sides, and it is present in the chest cavity. Now what will happen? When you inhale the air, means when inhalation takes place, the oxygen reaches the lungs. But how? When you take a deep breath, you can feel the chest cavity moves upwards and downwards. First, when you inhale the air, the ribs, it moves upward, and this diaphragm moves downwards. That time only inhalation takes place. So at that time what will happen? The chest cavity where it is being present, it increases the size and the air is being pushed rib will move upwards and this ribs down moves downward. So what is the reason for this is, this will reduce the space in the chest cavity and the hair is being pushed upwards to exhale it out. This is the difference between inhalation and exhalation. See, I will repeat again what is inhalation, how it works. When the hair is being pushed inside, the ribs moves up and this diaphragm moves down in the process of inhalation. So that time the hair is being filled with the lungs. In exhalation, the ribs will move down and the diaphragm moves upside. At that time it will reduces the space cavity. The space will be very less and the hair has been pushed out in the chest cavity. You yourself can experience yourself. You can just keep your hand on your chest cavity, take a deep breath. At that time you yourself will feel the movements. When you inhale the air, you feel it is moving up. The same thing when you are exhaling the air, you feel it is moving downwards. You can have an experience of this. See, I will just repeat once again what is the process of respiration in human beings. We are inhaling the air with the help of nostrils. It is reaching the nasal passage. Then it reaches the lungs. How it reaches lungs? It reaches the lungs with the help of the windpipe. From there, the lungs is being surrounded in the chest cavity and this is being surrounded by the ribs on both the sides. A muscular sheath is being present in the floor of the chest cavity and that is called as diaphragm. Remember, ribs and diaphragm takes an important place in the movement of the respiration. When you inhale the air inside, the ribs move up and the diaphragm moves down. In exhalation process, what will happen? In exhalation process, the diaphragm moves up and the ribs moves down. So at that time what will happen? The chest cavity, the space what is there, it will be increased and hair is taken inside during inhalation and in exhalation the space will be reduced and the hair is being exhaled out. So like this, ribs and diaphragm helps in the movement of the respiratory organs. Same way, there are some organisms where they have respiratory organs. In cockroaches, the respiratory organs are spiracles. In earthworm, it is the skin. In fish, it is gills. And in plants, it is stomata. Like this, in various organisms, the respiration process will take place. See, in this chapter, we have learned about breathing. We have learned about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. We have learned about anaerobes. We have learned the definition of breathing. With that, we have learned about inhalation, exhalation. We have learned about the breathing rate. Then we have learned the parts of the human respiratory system and we have learned how the process takes place in the human respiratory system. And we have learned that the respiratory organs of the other organisms like cockroaches, earthworm, fishes and plants. So this completes your chapter. Thank you.
Respiration. In human beings, air is taken into body through nostril of nose. The respiratory organ is present within the body and the organ is covered by a surface which is very fine and delicate, and the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place across this surface. The structure of the organ increases its surface area when it is in contact with oxygen-rich atmosphere, and there are passages that takes air into organ. And there is a mechanism for moving air in and air out. Let us learn the mode of respiration in lungs from the following diagram. Air enters into body through nostrils of nose. The nostrils consists of fine hairs that lines the passage, the way through which air passes, and also lined with mucus. What is the use of fine hair and mucus lining in the nostril passage? The fine hair of nostrils filter the air from dust, dirt, and microorganisms. And mucus also traps the dirt and facilitates smooth flow of air with its moist characteristic. Then the air passes through throat. The throat, also called as windpipe or trachea, which is surrounded by rings of cartilage. What is the necessary of rings of cartilage? ROC helps in free, unrestricted flow of air through windpipe and helps in preventing air passage from collapse. If cartilage rings are absent, then it increases pressure during exhalation on compression of rib cage, and windpipe will be closed, restricts airflow and interfere normal breathing. Through throat, air passes into lungs. Within lungs, the passage divides into smaller and smaller tubes and finally ends with balloon-like structures which are called as alveoli. The alveoli is the surface where exchange of gases take place. The wall of alveoli consists of network of blood vessels. As we all know, when we breathe in, we lift out ribs. Then diaphragm flattens, followed by chest cavity becomes larger, and that gives air is sucked into lungs and alveoli is filled with air. And then blood carries CO2 from all parts of the body and releases CO2 into alveoli. And that proceeds to the oxygen that is present in the alveoli is taken by blood by alveolar blood vessels. And finally, oxygen is transported to all cells of the body through blood vessels.